town's got a lot of cops. Damn, this town's got a lot of cops. But the story don't end there, okay?
Yeah, my name is Samuel Berry. I grew up here in the city of Sherwood and Gravel Ridge. Both my parents own small businesses in Gravel Ridge. I've always wanted, there is no other job that I've ever wanted to do. Literally since I was a kid, I was running around saying that I was going to be Walker, Texas Ranger, and I was going to be a police officer. So that's all I've ever known. I don't know why it inspired me, but it just did. I grew up watching Cops with my mother, and so I think all that maybe played a part in it. My grandmother, I grew up watching like Walker, Texas Ranger and Nash Bridges and all these cop shows. So I guess from there, that's where it just kind of got birthed into me. In 2018, I worked in dispatch for about a year and a half, and then in 2020, I moved to patrol, went through police academy, actually did 2 police academies. It was during COVID, and ended up going through the ALETA, which is the Arkansas Law Enforcement Training Academy. We did that in a short condensed season because of COVID, and then I went to a North Little Rock Police Academy that was 14 weeks during 2020. Worked patrol until 2024, and then in 2024 moved to our detective's office, and been doing that ever since. I'm our persons crimes. I predominantly handle domestic violence, our sex crimes, our juvenile crimes. Can work anything, but predominantly that's what I work. There are some days it's not fun. There are some days it's hard. But there's a lot of moments and a lot of situations that you do that make you feel proud, whether it's helping a juvenile that's going through a crisis or protecting a domestic violence victim from their offender and keeping them safe, or making sure, like I said, kids are in a safe spot. That's what I do kind of now. It's definitely hard. It's definitely hard to stay motivated sometimes, but I think surrounding yourself, having a good support system is very important, whether it be coworkers, but also I would probably say more importantly is people outside of the career, kind of keep you thinking like normal. You're not always doing crazy high-speed stuff. You're just with normal family, normal time. Surrounding yourself by positive people that can pour into you is the way I stay motivated. And if I am feeling a little, rough, calling out and reaching those people, talking to those people, and maybe venting, letting some thoughts out, and it's okay to do that. Most officers, I can't speak for every single officer, but most officers, they want to do right, they want to do good, they want to help people, they want to bring calm to a chaotic situation, they want to bring peace to a chaotic situation, whether that's a vehicle accident that's got your car totaled, or again, a domestic violence situation that, the victim doesn't know what to do. We're hopefully there to provide those resources and to help them. We'll make sure we're a unique place to serve and protect. Well, I'm thankful that in the state of Arkansas, we're pretty pro-law enforcement as a state, but Sherwood is really, really pro-law enforcement. The police department has got the biggest budget in the city. We're supported for the most part by our community. All the time we're getting shout outs from the community saying, thank you for your job, thank you for what you do. They really love us, they really support us. That's not true in every community. There are communities that they don't have that support, they don't have that love from the community. Sherwood has that. 100% from the community. In fact, there's Facebook pages like Positively Blue that are just very, very supportive of the police department and trying to help create a positive culture. On top of that, we have a great admin that really does their best to support the members of the department, to support their families, to provide resources for them. So it's just a good department all the way around. There's the basic police academy, which is typically like 3 months. I was a unicorn because I went through about 8 weeks of police academy because of COVID, and then did another 14-week academy. So you've got your basic police academy, and then there's on-the-job training, which is through our field training officers. Basically, you get assigned to a shift and you ride with a more senior officer who's qualified, been through training to train officers, to teach officers. And that's where you kind of learn your on-the-job training of how to handle calls, how to work domestics, how to work vehicle accidents, how to do paperwork, how to do reports. All that's how you learn it. And then after that, there's kind of continuing training as much as you want. You can put in for trainings and be involved in events or whatever you want to do. You can put in training requests for that. To be what I'm doing now in our detective's office, we went through a crime scene processing. You have photography, and I take a lot of domestic classes because I want to know more about domestic violence and understanding trauma and being informed on how trauma affects victims. So there's just a ton of training, but there's never enough. You never stop training. Our COPS division, they do mainly our traffic enforcement when people complain about traffic issues. They're also involved in a lot of things like our fishing derby. Like this past weekend, we just hosted a fishing derby with kids everywhere. The cops and the fire department came together and hosted that derby. They're also involved like when people do 5Ks and stuff like that, they help with that. Another one is a torch run that officers get involved in, which is for Special Olympics. Officers can sign up for that, and they do a torch run where basically they run the torch through our city all the way to Jacksonville. It comes from North Little Rock and it goes to Jacksonville, and we run it down 107, down Keel, and down Indian Head and give it to Jacksonville, and it ultimately ends up in Searcy for the Special Olympics run. And then there are officers as individuals that are involved in the community. The message to the community, especially for Sherwood, is thank you. Thank you for your support. Thank you for being involved and hearing us and showing up when the department needs you. The community as a whole is very supportive of our department, and I think I would just say thank you and keep up that good work, because the officers here are here to serve you. We're here to try and help as best we can. We're here to make this community as best as we can make it be. And that's my goal, and I think that's the officers that I'm friends with, that's their goals too. Sherwood is able to be a very proactive department in that aspect of trying to keep riffraff out of our city. I know for a long time the theme was close to the action but far from the noise. That's only possible because of us, that we keep that noise out. Meaning, making traffic stops, checking properties, especially on your midnight shift. The community can submit vacation checks, which basically says, hey, I'm on vacation. They send us the address, tells us what lights are going to be on, what's normal. And then, like I said, especially on your midnight shift, the officers get out and they check that routinely, making sure your property is secure. With traffic stops, helping to try and alleviate things like narcotics, or even we have, guns, getting guns off the street, narcotics off the street, people with violent warrants, things along those lines. It's worth it. It's a very, very noble calling. It's a very, very high calling. It's hard work. It's very mentally taxing, but you can do it. You can persevere. You can push through that, and you can make it no matter where you go. And the law enforcement culture is, if you work hard and you try your best, you put your best foot forward, at least in my experience, you can go anywhere you want to go. You can learn anything you want to learn, and you can do anything that you want to do. Just keep a positive attitude and try your best to move forward. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to fail. That's okay. Just push forward and keep going. Sherwood is growing a lot. Especially to the north, which is known as Gravel Ridge area. Our population is probably going to grow a lot there, which means it's going to require more officers. So I could see in the future, our budget increasing even more to allow for, 100 plus officers, which we've never had. I think that's going to be required. I think it's going to be necessary to protect the public. I think we're right around 82, but don't quote me on that slot. Now, that's not 82 officers right now. That's between the officers that are in the hiring process and have been hired, but in police academy. But I think we're slated for like 82 or 85, I think. And so as Sherwood grows, I think our department's going to grow. As our department grows, our budget's going to have to grow, which means it's going to offer more incentives, more opportunities to make a decent living, have better benefits. Everything is a plus by Sherwood growing. And so it's so cliche, but if you see something, go ahead and say something. There have been cases where someone said, hey, that seems kind of odd. They call it in, patrol gets there, sure enough, it's a burglary that just took place. And then we have cases where someone will say, yeah, I saw something, but thought it just seemed kind of weird, but I didn't think anything of it. And then it turns out to be a bigger deal that maybe we could have helped resolve sooner if someone would have just called us and let us know. It's our job to respond. It's our job to take calls. And so if you see something, give us a call, let us know, and we'll check it out. I think communication is key on this. So, and influence is key. I try my best to communicate with the right attitude to no matter where I'm at, no matter what I'm dealing with, whether it's taking someone into custody or taking a juvenile to a safe place. I try to communicate evenly. I think if I treat someone like a human being, then they're going to respond more positively to that every time. I've had cases where I've arrested people, and because of how I treated them, they say, hey, we appreciate it, man. Or if I ever see you in a fight, I got your back. And I appreciate that, because they're going to remember how you treated them. If you treated them poorly, they're going to remember that. If you treated them with as much respect as you can, they're going to remember that too. And so I think that's the key, is communication and just influence. Training has grown, technology has grown, resources have grown, mental health has grown in the law enforcement community. So it's growing in the positive direction. In addition to that, one of the biggest things that I'm excited about is the training facility that's coming. It's going to be off of Landers, and it's going to be, it's going to have a gym, it's going to have a firing range where we can have our own firing range, conduct our own training whenever we want to, whenever we need to. That training facility is going to be really cool. And again, community support, city council support, all that has taken place. And so we've never had that. I've always heard that we would probably never have a range because we're surrounded by cities, and it's just, you can't have a shooting range in the middle of a city. But here we are, and we have one being built right now. So that's really exciting.